Hey Virgo, we're going to do your October read. And I know I'm a little late, but I really just want a Mercury to clear out because it's been a doozy. Just all tech stuff. I'm like, how is that even possible? So, we're going to do it now. Also, I want to point out that if it's yours, you'll know. If it's not yours, you'll also know. So, take that into consideration. If the first couple minutes aren't hitting it for you, it's probably not for you, or if it is for you, you'll know. So let's see, Virgo, October, what are we talking about here? 1, 2, what's 5? Virgo, here we go. All right. So, I'm getting a little bit of a temptation vibe, but like, let's see. You kind of overcome it. You might be trying to break out of patterns, and people or situations are kind of like, no, Virgo, stay here, just hang out. And you're like, something about it's not sitting well with you. And you know there's something on the other side, but it's also like the change. It's not like super comfy, so there might be resistance in that element of it. But at the lovers you have at the center, relationships about, it's also just a decision card unto itself where you need to decide how you're going to move forward with stuff. And also I feel like if you do make that pivot, it's not that people aren't going to be happy about it, but it's, I feel like you're going to hit the friction point there. Because in the corners you have the Devil, the Three of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Five of Swords. So yeah, if you're trying to overcome something, you're kind of manifesting things with this Three of Wands. You're waiting for it to come in. The High Priestess, there's that Virgo gut feeling where you're just like, ooh, And with the Five of Swords, people can kind of be catching a whiff of that where they're like, ooh, Virgo's shifting. And you're like, yeah, I am. And that could kind of make people, not act out or be mean, but they do, like I said, there's friction. I don't think it's all out fighting, but there is an element of friction. Because with the Devil, Knight of Cups for me is always like the best foot forward guy. He's got the good intentions, it's really nice or whatever. Also, you could be kind of letting people show you who they are. Because you're putting your best foot forward, and if something isn't sitting right about them, with this High Priestess, you're like, and there it is. Because the Empress is a really nice energy to have, and you want things to grow, and you want the Knight of Pentacles. You could actually see potential in a person or situation, but there's an undercurrent of like, yeah, and then the Three of Wands, sometimes that could just be waiting, like waiting on potential, but also waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because the Empress is a lovely energy, right? And she's a 3, and that's a 3. Then you have the Devil over here. There is like kind of, and then you have the Three of Swords down here. Now, Three of Swords does not have to be, pain or whatever. For me, that's a very truthful card. It doesn't all the way have to be heartbreak, but there's clarity that comes out of it. And I always kind of feel like Three of Swords sometimes is not getting your way, but I don't know if this is you necessarily. Like, I think you're pretty calm, cool, and collected. It's everything else outside. Because the Devil, for me, is always somebody, doesn't have to be like addiction or whatever. It could be people that just want to push boundaries. People that want to get what they can out of you. People that want to, benefit by your putting the best foot forward. I feel like, though, you have your ear to the ground on something. Because with that High Priestess, she's always like, I'm not going to say what I know, because you don't know that I know, and I'm not going to let you know that I know, but because with this High Priestess, Knight of Pentacles, and Five of Swords, I feel like there's something you're not buying, but you're not really like, letting people know that you know. You're also not calling attention to it, and you're, like I said, you're letting people show you who they are. And when they do, they're like, wait, but you know. And you're like, okay. Because what is this Three of Swords about? I always want to go to that one because people get upset about Three of Swords. And I'm like, I don't think you need to be upset, really. Six of Cups, yeah. You can't, old dog, new tricks. I think people want to, like I said, Six of Cups. You could kind of also be realizing that, like, old situations are not it anymore. Or when someone does come back around, like I said, it's like they showed you what was up before, and you're like, ugh. Because what is a Seven of Pentacles? That was the waiting card. Didn't commit, though. So, Six of Cups, what is that about? Exactly. Give me something on that exactly. It is Ace of Cups. Yeah. So, I mean, if you had the 6 and the Ace, you have a 7, which means there's options and stuff. I feel like you've outgrown something potentially. And when this old thing comes a-knocking that you've kind of outgrown, you're like, no. And that could be like the, hey, who does Virgo think they are business? You're like, I'm Virgo. Hello. So this 5 of Swords, what's that about? King of Wands. Yeah, I wouldn't really try it with you. I mean, they can. I don't see them getting very far. So what is it about? Oh, I don't know. 5 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, and the Star. I feel like there's a persistence to whatever this is that tries to be, like, in your face about it. But with the 2 of Pentacles, it's almost like you're juggling it. It just, you're rising above it. I get like I don't care. Like with the Star, though, it's like whatever decisions you're making now are coming from a better spot. And that's where it's like you get this Knight of Pentacles energy, you get the Star energy. Like you're very balanced, and if anyone does come and try and make you teeter-totter, you're not really buying it. But there's a persistence, and I feel like it's focused at first, and then it kind of like pitters off because you're not buying into it. You know what I mean? It's like how people are like, I'm just going to keep that. And it's like when they don't listen, they're just like, oh. And you're like, yeah, uh-huh. Because Lovers, 10 of Cups. Hi. Whatever you're doing is far more fulfilling than the static around you. And this could be when, past stuff rears its head up. And like, it's also, let's see, Ace of Wands. Yeah, so you're starting kind of a new thing. It's like a new cycle. You're into the doing business. I feel like this 3 of Swords could actually come from that past element with the 6 of Cups, where it's like you really are seeing, the truth of the situation. And I'm not saying you're a Pollyanna or like rose-colored glasses or whatever, but there's an element of like, ooh, it was like that. Ugh, Whoa. And you're on to other stuff at the time, so it's like when it does come back, because I mean you have the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, you're doing other things, you're making better decisions, and like I said, it's probably going to pitter off a little bit, because what is this Knight of Pentacles for Virgo here? The Hermit. There you are. Hi. You had the best of intentions, you tried to put your best foot forward, but then you just had to put it up someone's butt, probably. And I'm not saying you were very, like, there are no mean cards here. There's cards of realizing stuff that can kind of suck a little bit, but I don't see anything like gargantuan. Yeah. I think you were done seeing the potential in a situation, because that's the 10 of Wands. Like, the decisions you're making, you're not putting your energy into the stuff that isn't going to grow the way you need it to. And I feel like with the High Priestess, you know that on some level. And here you are with the Knight of Pentacles, the Hermit, doing all this stuff because you have the Ace of Wands here. So the decisions are even better. Because what is this High Priestess? What does Virgo know? Let's see, what does Virgo know? 6 of Wands, a recognition, victory. You're kind of like, and there it is. Also, I do want to point out, excuse me, Bluetooth, with this Ace of Cups, it's almost like the realization kind of stinks a little bit of whatever the thing is, where you're like, no, that's not going to come out the way I wanted it to. That doesn't have the potential I thought it did. But it's almost like it frees you up to take this Ace of Cups. To be like, okay, well, we're moving on to the next. And then when you do detach in whatever way, that's when it's like, hey, Virgo, get back here. And you're like, I'm good. Like I said, there's like a pittering off. Because you're not waiting on potential. Like, you can't take potential to the bank. You can't, eat potential. You could. But, yeah. Yeah. It's like the potential doesn't feed you. You need the actual stuff. Yeah. So there's the mountain. There's obstacles involved in this that you're just like, you're seeing things for what, like, there's just a heavy realization factor. Even if you brought your best to the table and you know it, the validation that comes with, like, that is what I thought it was. Because then you have the bear, which is a protection element. Like, it's mama bear energy. And the star, what you want, let's protect it. Let's level up. Let's go for that. Because what is this obstacle back here? The book. In this capacity, I feel like if people were kind of hiding something, they weren't saying stuff. I'm not getting Seven of Swords energy, but it is a very, like, with the devil there is stuff that was kind of being hidden that pops out where you're like, and there it is. I don't think anything is a surprise, honestly. And then there's the dude. And that doesn't have to be an actual man. That could just be a person. But it was the lightning and the clouds that wanted to come out. And the lilies. So I feel like something's time. If you've waited for this, there it is. The key, yes. It's the key, it's the time. And it's also, the whip is kind of decisions. It's kind of, I don't usually get the consequences part, but this combination is kind of the F around find out combo. I feel like someone did, and now it's the find out part. So, give me one on this star here. And this doesn't have to be romance. This could just be like friend group, family, just life in general, where you're like, I thought that was going to go different, but you kind of knew. Yeah, here we go. You want some kind of real cycle and what you want that's going to be far more fulfilling than whatever this is back here. Whatever you did, you gave it the old college try. You stuck in there for however long you could. But better is coming around once it kind of wraps up. You just kind of need that final shoe to drop to be like, and there it is. So let's see, Virgo. Okay. Hi. Fluorite. Good one. So this is spiritual peace, focus, and connection. So increase your ability to focus and achieve objectivity. Think of an issue or situation in your life which you need to bring the power of your mind and spirit. Hello. Also, this is I always like fluorite for kind of like a protective element to kind of up your own game mentally, and kind of keep your thoughts clear so you don't get kind of clouded up. So that is what we have for October, Virgo, and I will talk to you later.